Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our latest Still COVIDing chat. I'm Kara, Familia Hernandez Darling on Facebook. And today I'm excited to talk to you about a new community opportunity to purchase directly to consumer the MaxAir PAPR system. So all of us in our communities have, sort of been following this progression of the different kinds of tools that we can use to keep ourselves safe. And we've all learned so many things over the past 5 years. If you guys are like me, which I know a lot of you are, we've gone from, cloth masks to figuring out we needed to something better into N95s, and then we've gone to fit testing and elastomerics. And then, probably at least the most recently for me, discovered the world of PAPRs and positive air pressure, keeping us safe and also sort of freeing us for the need for a perfect seal. Which is honestly like when you have a PAPR and it's a P100 PAPR, there's no filtration difference in that PAPR and a P100 elastomeric. The difference is that your elastomeric P100s or your regular P100s have to, they have to have that seal. You have to have the fit testing, and you have to make sure that you've got a good seal for them to be protective. Whereas the PAPRs, the positive flow of air pushes out any of the outside air. So the only air coming in is the air through the fan and the filter. You guys have heard me say it a million times, and I'm going to keep saying it just because I think that there's a lot of education to be done around PAPRs. And so getting a Viron into a, NEOSH certified PAPR is like, a minnow trying to swim Niagara Falls. It just, the positive air pressure makes that, highly unlikely to happen. And that frees us up a little bit from, the worry of, is my fit there? It also allows us to do some little less conventional things like pop bites under there or slide a straw or piece of tubing under there so we can drink. And it just really kind of, opens up our world a little bit more. And so I'm super excited to have explored PAPR technology. And I bet most of you guys, I'm going to go ahead and just share our screen here. But this recording will also be posted on our YouTube channel. Can you guys see? Sandy, are you looking at the YouTube channel? Or do I have the right screen up? Okay. So our YouTube channel, definitely, we do have playlists now that we're working on getting filled. And so there's our PAPR information here. You can definitely go watch our discussion of like going from N95 to PAPR and then some of the other PAPRs that, we've talked about. We have talked a little bit about the MaxAir before. Because MaxAir has decided to be a pretty amazing community partner and actually bridge the accessibility issue for people who wouldn't normally be able to purchase a PAPR, to allow them to basically have a scholarship to PAPR, so that that's been the number one issue as we brought this technology to the community is it's just not in everybody's budget. And so that's another reason why I'm really excited about MaxAir and this opportunity, because they have come willingly with proposals to be a great community partner and give back in that way. But anyway, I digress. You can look here on our YouTube channel. You can sort of see our discussions about the PAPRs. You'll be able to watch this video, and you can watch any of these other videos that sort of go into the nuts and bolts and explain more about PAPRs. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that now because really I want to talk to you about MaxAir. And I also want to talk to you because you've probably all seen, in addition to, MaxAir being ready and available for us today, that on Monday there's a MicroClimate Air3 that will also be available. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons of, both of those systems, and maybe why you would or wouldn't choose either the MaxAir or the MicroClimate Air3. So now, having said that, let's just dive right in. I'm going to stay in this view, and I'm going to navigate over to the new MaxAir store. that is now available for direct to consumer purchase. So MaxAir, a lot of you guys probably know, was actually mostly sold to hospitals and other medical facilities instead of being readily accessible to the consumer. And so I know there are a few people in our groups that sort of tracked down a salesman and negotiated with them and were able to purchase these PAPRs on their own. But by and large, it's been not super easy. And they've also, because they were sold in bulk to medical facilities, they were sold in parts or pieces. And so you would have to go and sort of figure out which pieces that you needed, which, for some people is easy. I see some of our, subject matter experts assume, and I'm sure Jared had no problem going in and picking and choosing. But for others of us like me who are a little bit less technologically savvy, it's sort of daunting to go in and try to like pick, which piece do I need? Do I have all my pieces? What's best for me and all of that? And so MaxAir has launched now. If you look, we're store.maxair-systems.com. And this is their new direct to consumer page. And if you scroll down on their page, you can see that you can, purchase the different parts, or you can now purchase the starter kit. And they've put the starter kit together really for our community. So that takes the guesswork out of, deciding which piece that you need. And there it has everything that you need to get ready, to get started with your PAPR system all in one spot. And it comes in a pretty nifty like blue duffel bag, and it has your battery and it has all of your pieces. I think I can yeah, I can show you here. It has your battery, your belt, all of these pieces, pre-assembled together for you. And then it has your lens cuffs, which I'll show you a little bit about that here in just a second. And so everything you need is all in this one system. The regular price point of the system is $1,444. At the end of this video, actually, I'm going to turn the video off, and I'm going to give you, in our still COVIDing community, a discount price it's a substantial discount that's just available for people in our still COVIDing groups. Now, MaxAir did ask that we don't share this widely in all the public forums. They are limiting right now this discount that they have for us to the first 200 kits. And so they'll sell the 200, they'll see how that goes and what process it is, and then they'll decide if they're, going to continue and sell 200 more after that. But we are going to ask, a lot of times we allow sort of the codes to just be passed around, and sort of shared. We are going to ask that for those of you here today, and then we'll post it in our still COVIDing groups. But they've asked us, because this is a brand new system, they built out this website so that we could purchase PAPRs easily. And it's new. There might be some glitches or some bugs on the system. If there are, don't freak out. Just let us know, or let MaxAir know, because this is a new work in progress that they're trying to do, because they really want to increase accessibility to PAPRs. They would love to see PAPRs become, a common tool that everyone has access to and can use. And I know you guys have also heard me say that for me, the MaxAir PAPR gives me another layer of, just sort of confidence, because even if there are, mask bans or prohibitions of mask, having the full face clear PAPR on is a great tool that would not, violate any kind of, hiding your identity in a mask, like some of us are worried about right now. So anyway, you can come here to this website. You will be able to put your information and your order in. You'll have the code that gives the reduced pricing for our group, and then you will be able to pay with a Visa, a MasterCard, a Discover, or a debit card. And your MaxAir system will ship within 2 weeks. So there will be a 2-week order time from the time that you purchase and the time that your order ships. And so That will be the process for our group. And I'm really, really excited that this is now finally available to everybody in a more accessible way. Now let's talk a little bit about again about the MaxAir and some of the things that I wanted you to show you about it. First of all, the power supplies. So, oops, see, there you go. This page isn't built yet. When you're looking at power supplies, I'll just show you because I have mine right here. When you're looking at power supplies, the MaxAir, what makes it sort of cool is the power supply is about the size of a couple of deck of cards. There are two different kinds of power supplies that are available. The little blue tab power supply, you know, gives you a 12 to 14 hour projected battery. The black tab power supply gives you 8 to 10 hours. So they're exactly the same size. They look exactly the same, except for one has a little blue and one has a little black tab. But the only difference is the battery life. So you'll get the regular battery with your PAPR kit. You will also then get the charger, which is like pretty easy. The charger, it's just it reminds me of my computer charger. But it has a little light here. I can plug it in so you can see it. And when the battery is, hold on, if I turn away from my computer and talk to you, you won't be able to hear me. Here we go. So you plug it in just right here. And you can see that it's a yellow light when the system is charging. It's blinking, and then when the system is fully charged, this light will go green, and that will let me know that my battery now is fully charged. It's that simple to plug in and charge them. And then the other thing that you probably need to know that may not be intuitive at first is that there's no on and off switch for these CAPRs. And that's intentional. They don't want someone to be able to come and accidentally turn it off or walk up behind you and turn it off anyway. So the way that you turn it on or the way that you turn it off is, it's the same entry port for the charger that it is to plug your CAPR in. You press the button and plug the CAPR in, and then that is what turns it on. And you can see in the top, I don't know if I can show you here on the screen, but there's little lights right here. And these lights tell you if you're fully charged or if you're at 75 or 50 or 25% charged. I don't know if you can see the blowing here of the cuff. The cool thing about these though is how quiet they are. You probably can't hear it over Zoom. Okay. These are the quietest PAPRs that I've personally ever tried, and I've tried a lot of the different ones. But these PAPRs are super quiet. So you can even see if I pop this PAPR on, you can still hear me. I mean, obviously, you can tell I have a PAPR on, but it's really, really easy. It's easy to hear people, and it's easy to talk to people in these PAPRs. And so all of the fan is up here. The filter is up here in this part. You can see my full face, and I can have a conversation with you without worrying, about the blower or can you hear me, or can I hear you? And that's one of the first things that my 10-year-old noticed. She was 9 when she actually started trying this on. She was wearing to school mostly her VersaFlow. And I said, let's try this MaxAir. And she started, choosing to wear the MaxAir. And I said, why are you choosing your MaxAir over your VersaFlow? Because her VersaFlow works great for school. And she said, Mom, they can hear me when I talk in the MaxAir, and I can hear them when I speak in the MaxAir. So it definitely, the sound is one of the biggest advantages. Another advantage is that it's really, really light. It's similar to like a bicycle helmet. The head harness is like a hard hat, but the weight here is not much heavier than a bicycle helmet. So it doesn't make my neck tired. And it doesn't make my kids neck tired. Like, she could wear it, for her school day without a problem. Yes, absolutely safe doctor's access. You can also say in a MaxAir CAPR because you have sort of full face visibility. Now, of course, it would be difficult, to stick. You can't tongue depress in a Max PAPR, really. You can definitely drive in it. I've driven in it just fine. You have peripheral vision in a MaxAir PAPR, which you don't have in a lot of the other PAPRs. Now, it does make me a couple of inches taller because of the stuff that's up here. So when I try to get in the car, sometimes I have to remember, if I have it on and I'm coming out of my office and I try to get in the car, then I have to remember to duck to get in the car. Once I get in the car, I can drive with it just fine, but it does make you a little bit taller. Now, it is a positive air pressure PAPR. So again, if I want to stick a straw here, and have something to drink, that positive air pressure, I'm not going to worry about breaking my seal like I would worry about it with, an N95 or an elastomeric. I can, use my PAPR to drink. You could also, again, pop some bites in with the PAPR. The way that I do that again is, I pull it, pop a bite, put it back, chew, swallow. And then again, I pull it down, pop a bite, pull it back, chew, swallow. That's not you can't do that in a mask, safely without breaking your seal. I mean, there are a few of the like aerospace engineers that have like tried to figure out, and they've practiced like their hold your breath, pop the mask, do whatever. But you're a common person, and certainly not me at my level of coordination. I'm not going to feel comfortable trying to like pop bites and stuff under mask like that. It doesn't feel as safe to me. But in a PAPR with this positive air pressure, as long as I'm not like, I wouldn't want to, and this is again thanks to some of the data we have from Jared, I would not want to completely remove this and hang out with it just as a face shield, because I'm gonna lose my protection that way. But I'm not concerned with having some little gaps up here where the air flows out, or I'm not concerned with pulling it, popping it, and putting it back on as I'm, eating or having a place where there's a straw that I can hydrate. So this really, really opens up the world. This PAPR now, just like other PAPRs, it does not filter the outflow. So if you are infectious, like say you had COVID, you would not put on this PAPR if you have COVID and go to the pharmacy to pick up your meds or do whatever you're going to do, because you would be spreading your COVID germs. So in that case, you would need to wear a mask, underneath the PAPR. They do have a booty thing that you can put over it, that it does that is supposed to filter the outflow. Honestly, I've not played with that booty thing. It really does look like, like the blue booties you put on your shoes. They have one that you can, it sort of fits over this and is supposed to catch your outflow and filter it as well. In the future, when we get more gadgety and more people get these, we'll have another Zoom and we'll look at that. There is also a nuisance, like a VOC, an odor nuisance filter that you can buy. So the filters that come with these are their regular P100 filters. But if you wanted something that filtered odors or VOCs, there is a special filter that you can buy that does filter odors and VOCs as well. It's just like the regular filter. You install it and use it just like the regular filter, but it does take care of those fumes and any other kinds of smells for the people that are sensitive like that. It is a little pricey. I did notice on the website they do have the prices up for it. But the good thing about these, the filters, and to change the filter, you just pop this cap off. And I did that in our other video, showed people. And they actually now, though, instead of it just being a floppy filter that's like the mask material, when you get your kit, there will be a cage and your filter will be attached to that cage. It will actually come put together, but when you change your filter, there will be a structure that it snaps into so that you can't sort of mess it up by crinkling it or leaving a gap where there might be some dirty air that gets in, like you could in some of the in the older models. But anyway, these filters, they're going to be good with the way that our community uses them. for, occasional personal use. They're going to be good probably at least for at least 6 months, and possibly even up to a year with one filter. Especially, sort of depending on how you're wearing it. If you're just wearing it to a doctor's appointment every once in a while, or even if you're wearing it once a week to go into the grocery store, these filters are going to last a long time for the people in our community. Let's see, what else should I tell you about these? Oh, the really cool thing is, let me show you this. So this part right here, it's just a one-piece plastic cap, and it pops on and off so that you can take the filter on and off. But you can decorate these. You can paint them. You can put stickers on them. You can have them with your outfits. You can buy the pieces individually from MaxAir, or actually, you can also grab them sometimes on eBay. They have people that pop them out on eBay so that you can do a little bit of a decoration. And that's what basically, I think you guys who I hope are all in PAPR party by this point, you can see here, my little one wanted a shark. Are you guys looking at the shark? Sandy, do I have the right screen up? Yeah, she wanted sharks, and so her sister painted hers blue with sharks for the ocean. But there will also be, you could do a whole lot of things. I've heard murmurings, everything from, X-Men to, more intricate designs. I'll have a picture for you guys. My older daughter's doing one for a gala that we have this weekend that matches my dress. So you can sort of customize these. So you can go with the clean astronaut kind of look, or you can, bling them out, bejewel it, bedazzle it, whatever, that, floats your boat, with to be able to individualize your CAPRs. Now, when you get your CAPRs too, the one thing that will not be assembled on your CAPR is the lens cuffs. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop mine off real quick because it's not hard to do. So these lens cuffs, they were actually designed, to be disposable. But if you are not super rough on them, and if when you transport them, if you take it off and lay them flat, one lens cuff will last you, a good couple of weeks. Mine lasts usually 2 or 3 weeks before my fiddling with the back part of them. You can tear them here, or you can get little holes in them, or they sort of stretch out and then you have to replace it. So when you get your unit, you will have 5 of these that are flat in the bottom. And when they come, they come with this sort of film like your cell phone that you just peel off and get rid of, And then after you peel that film off, you just sort of put your fingers under there and you free up the part that goes under your chin. If I can get it, there we go. And that lets me know what side, and normally I don't put them on when it was on. I put them on when the CAPR's off, but you can. These little wings too pop out on the sides, and they go in these little struts here on the side of the CAPR, just to sort of help support it against your face. And this little knob here turns. It turns. You can see it can go vertical or horizontal. And so when you put it on, the little hole is horizontal. You just pop it on like that, and then to stabilize it, you turn it vertical. And then you can just, pop these on the sides like this. Pull your cuff down, pop your wings into these little struts over here, and you're good to go. So when you get your units, that's what it will, that's what this part won't be attached. You'll attach that yourself. And then again, if you have a particularly yucky sneeze or something, you can take them off and you can clean them. They did recommend, oh shoot, the cleaning chemical. There's a cleaning chemical that has less than 2-minute dwell time, and they extensively tested it, and it doesn't have any degradation, and it's called Oxivir. The Oxivir wipes, and you can get them on Amazon. And that's what they recommend that you use, just to wipe it off and clean it with. If you happen to get something on it, or if you went into like a really, and if you went into an infectious environment, you were in the hospital or something, you want it to wipe it off. Those Oxivir wipes will really disinfect it pretty easily. So, I promised you guys that I would talk to you a little bit about the MicroClimate Air 3, which is going to come out Monday, versus this unit, to tell you about different use cases for each unit. So the MicroClimate Air 3, the reason why I can talk to you about it is because I do actually own an Air 1 and an Air 2. So we've been pretty familiar with the microclimate airs since they came out. It was actually the very first PAPR that we purchased and used, and we purchased it for my daughter's infusions. My older daughter here has, infusions of a biologic every 3 months, and we wanted something where we were doing the infusions at home, but we were having a nurse come in, and this was before we knew about the, magical plus lives, or even before the Qs and the Detects and the Luceras and all of that. And so we just sort of had rat test, and we were nervous. And so she was able to wear this, and she could still eat, slide a little tube under it, eat or drink, and do her infusion. But Air 1 and Air 2 were not NIOSH approved. So now they have come out with the MicroClimate Air 3 that is launching on Monday. And the Air 3 is a good unit. I'm not going to tell you that the microclimate airs are not good units, because they are. And some of this is going to be use scenarios and sort of personal preference. So the advantages, disadvantages to both. One advantage is the MaxAir, unless they've drastically changed the weight, which I don't think they have, the MaxAir is lighter. Okay, so you can see my little one here when she was about 6, and she had it on, but she couldn't wear it, really for long periods of time because it was too heavy. Now the MaxAirs too, though, this on a 6-year-old, it's not too heavy for them, but these shields are a little bit flimsy. And so it doesn't hold up. It's not made for like rough and tumble use. It's not made to do front flips or, front handsprings, and neither is the microclimate air. So if you have a younger one, and I would say, sort of, below 8, below 9, actually probably the best PAPR for them would be, a 3M VersaFlow with a very small hood, because we put them in backpacks, and they're sort of industrial hardy, and they really hold up to the kids, especially if you get a high durability helmet. So actually for a lot younger kid, I wouldn't go with a microclimate air or with the MaxAir. But by the time that they get to, be able to actually, you can talk to them and you can tell them, hey, please don't turn cartwheels or play, American football in your PAPRs, or at least not these, then these do become, viable options for kids. This one, the MaxAir is a little bit lighter. But the main advantage that the MaxAir has over the MicroClimate Air 3, the main advantage is, if you see here, I think his name is Michael Hall. He's the founder of MicroClimate. And if you go to their website, when he talks to you, you see he has earbuds on. He has earpods on, and he's projecting his voice outside of his PAPR when he does his recordings, because of the noise, the ambient noise. Now the ambient noise is still going to be less than, say, a Clean Space. Clean Space, I think, probably has one of the highest ambient noise levels. But the ambient noise level in a MaxAir is of such, you do not need those earbuds. And especially, like I said, for kids, one of the first things that my daughter noticed, you don't need to have the earbud compatibility. Now, MicroClimate did do a good job. They sort of designed it for earbud compatibility, but here you don't need that. Here you can hear people and they can hear you, you just fine. The other thing is, again, the bulk. Of course, there's more bulk here. Now, I would say that there's probably a bit more, durability if you're hard on things, with the Air 3 than with the MaxAir. You do want to be careful when like I said, when you transport the MaxAir, the best thing to do is to take the cuff off and lay it flat, because these will crinkle or they will tear. And then you do have to replace that. Of course, that's not going to be a problem with the MicroClimate 3, although my kids did manage to drop one and crack it. So they say that this that this plastic shield is, sort of unbreakable. It's not really. You can crack them if it falls off the counter. Testimonial right here. But anyway, those are, I mean, that's really, some of it would be aesthetic preference too, oh, and the other thing is, you wouldn't really, I mean, if you decorate these, it's permanent, right? And so it's not a removable shell that you can replace if you personalize them. You personalize your $1,000 your $1,000 MicroClimate Air3. You're stuck with whatever you stuck on there. And the MaxAir having these removable shells that you can do the personalization is probably another benefit as well. And I will tell you that with our discount code pricing, then we're going to come in a little bit under the price point of the MicroClimate Air3. So that's sort of my pros and cons. My general recommendation would be, if you're, if it's you or a child that is, old enough to, sort of follow instructions and sit through a movie or sit through, a lecture or whatever, the MaxAir is going to be, it's going to be quieter, and it's going to be lighter, and it's probably, going to be a little bit better tolerated than the MicroClimate Air3. Now, the other thing that is up in the air, and we just don't know, we know that in these MaxAirs, this lithium battery, it's too big to fly with. So you can't wear this on an airplane. But the microclimates in the past, some people have gotten away with flying with the battery that's in the microclimate, because it's not an external battery, it's an internal battery. The same thing with the clean spaces. So that is something. Now, not every airline will allow it. Some airlines have asked people to remove them as well. So this whole air travel thing, I mean, wouldn't that be great? We would really love to say, oh, you can fly in X, Y, or Z PAPR, because we all know how risky air travel is. But we don't really have a guarantee for any of the PAPRs right now that you can fly in them. But we do know that the PAPRs who have these external lithium batteries of this size, then they're disallowed. You can tack them, but you can't have them, on, when you're boarding or in flight. So I think that is mostly what I have to tell you about my opinions between the MaxAir, the MicroClimate Air3, and sort of the pros and cons of your use cases. Before I go in and give you the discount stuff, I'm going to look through the questions and just see if there's, some of other questions that you guys have that other people might also be interested in knowing the answer to. Oh, and also I do just want to make sure that everybody does know to be sure that you are in our PAPR party group. If you're not already there, then, joining this Facebook group, you can get a lot of your questions answered about PAPRs. We share photos, we talk about things, not just MaxAir. There's, all sorts of different kinds of PAPRs. This is my kiddo again in her VersaFlow. So that's the one that I was talking about. That's better for the, for the younger kids. But, definitely hop on over and join our community here. So that we can continue, any conversations or anything that you forget to ask, during this Zoom, then, we have a community of people there that can help you. So let me go through here and see what we have in our chat questions. Okay, so Jared is asking about the regular filter. Jared, they didn't put the filter fix picture on there. They've assured me multiple times that the new filter fix is actually going to come with the kits, and I think they actually hopefully had one to you for testing pretty soon. VOC combined with viral. Yep, that's great. Can you lie down in it? You can lie down in it, but you probably would do well with a neck pillow. And I didn't bring one, but like, a neck pillow, a boppy pillow, a squishmallow, you definitely can lie in it, but you would want to have something back here to support your neck. Again, it's sort of like a hard hat. If you look at this assembly under here, let me just show you the assembly really quickly. It literally is like it's like a hard hat assembly. There's pads here that they give you, and that you can actually buy extra of to, sort of cushion. This right here is adjustable, which is why kids and adults both can wear it, because you turn this, and it makes the harness, smaller or larger. But this part right here is definitely just like a hard hat. So with a good pillow, you can actually, you can lay down in the hard hat. You can do medical procedures in them. I've done mammos in them. You can't do an MRI, of course, because it does have metal in it, but you can do ultrasounds, you can do cardiograms, you can do different medical procedures even while you have the PAPR. Tour de France sticker on it. Yep. How perishable is the elastic looking inside edge? So this part right here. So this is made to be disposable. This is made for you to pop it off and replace it periodically. So like I said, mine lasts for a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on sort of how many days I've been wearing it and what I've been doing in it. But this part is disposable. It's not like it's stronger than like cling wrap or something. It's sort of a similar, but it's rubbery. So it's not like just super super flimsy. It can hold up to some stretching and some moving, but it will also tear if if you're rough with it. Let's see. NASA, you could drive. The helmet would affect the headrest. Yeah, it would, but again, probably not any more than if you were driving in your hard hat, really, which people do all the time. The pillow would take the weight of your helmet. Is this offer available? This is still limited to U.S. residents, unfortunately. They are trying to work out a system to make this available to Canada, but because of the lithium batteries, it's not yet the discount and the direct to consumer shipping through this website are not available to Canada yet. Now, I do know that there are some people who have gotten a unit in Canada by finding a rep and finagling the shipping and all of that. But unfortunately, the discount code and this particular website ordering system are not yet available in Canada. Well, there'll be a phone line for customer service and help with setting it up. So definitely, just a second, I will show you another flyer that gives you all the customer service information. So also Sandy, can you wave here? I don't know if you guys can see her or not. Sandy, of course, is the person from our community that helps us with these kind of vendor relationships, and she's generously volunteered her time to help everybody with MaxAir and liaisoning with MaxAir. MaxAir does have also a dedicated customer service representative for us, especially during this first initiative. I believe her name is Sylvia. And there is basically an email contact and a phone number that you can call to talk to MaxAir in case of any problems. Now, that being said, MaxAir is not like a super huge company, guys. Okay, they're pretty small, and the people involved in handling, our little COVIDing piece of this, there's probably less than half a dozen people that are doing this. So that's why Sandy has volunteered her time, so that if there's things that we can batch or if we can, facilitate, please let us do that, just to help keep them happy with our community and make sure that, as they get their systems up and running, that we can continue to have this really great opportunity to access these PAPRs. Are your ears in or out? Your ears are out. And you can take phone calls, answer the phone calls and stuff in these as well. I leave my cuff on and put it in the duffel, no issue. Yeah, you can, but again, it sort of depends on how careful you are. I've taken this and put it in the seat of the car beside me and not taking the cuff off, but I've also put it in the back seat behind me, and then my kids gotten in and crushed the cuff and made the creases in it, you know? So I don't really think you're not necessarily really going to break the actual machine, but you can destroy these cuffs if you're rough on them. So if you're, you know, super careful and you leave it in and you sort of, I don't know, have a pill in there or something to help it do the shape, yeah, you could do that. But if you want to get the most longevity out of your cuffs, then probably if you're transporting it, transporting them flat makes them last longer. Um, can you paint it or customize it? Absolutely. We did talk about that. The wipes. Let me just see if I can pull up the wipes on the on Amazon to show you which ones they are. They're Oxivir wipes. Here they are. So I'm going to share my screen. So they're, you know, hospital grade disinfectant wipes. They're basically a hydrogen peroxide derivative, and this is the recommended wipe to use to clean your MaxAir PAPR. And again, they've tested these extensively, no aggregation, and you can see that their dwell time is, you know, only 1 minute. They told me, you know, less than 2 minutes. So these are the wipes that you want to get to clean off to clean your PAPR with. Has anyone fit tested the Max Cuff? Yes. Yes, they have. And I know that Jared is here and he's going to, you know, regale us with his lovely review eventually. And he's porta counted it and done all sorts of things with it and can tell you all sorts of those kind of nuances. I tested it when there was lots of forest smoke in the air and parts per million. The Max Cup completely cleaned the smoke out of the air. I mean, it is a P100 filter, so it won't get like burning chemicals, but you know, it's going to get your particles. We just passed 700 people in the PAPR group. What PAPR party? Is the MicroClimate Air3 NIOSH approved and has it been tested? Yes. It is NIOSH approved, and of course they've done all the things to prove that it's filtering properly for NIOSH. Where is the intake? Can you wear a scarf or hood under it? Yeah, so all of your stuff happens. So the intake, if you there's like let me just show you guys. I'm gonna take the cuff off just because it's easier. And this is still on right now. But you know, when you pop off this the top part, I'm sorry, you can't see me when I come down to get the leverage to pop off the top cuff, then you come off the camera, but you pop it off like this, okay? And this whole thing is the filter area. This whole thing is the intake. And when you put your cup, when you put this on the top, you know, it sort of holds your filter thing there, but you're sucking the air in, you know, basically through the this like ridge here. There's like a gap here, and you're getting the air in, and it's coming in through, pulling down through the fans. The fans are up here. You can feel it blowing. You know, the area that blows is that's where the area that blows is. And so let's see. Can you wear a scarf or hood over it? Yes, you can wear a scarf or hood over it. This basically protects the filter, and it also means that, like, you know, if you were to get like some raindrops splashed on it or something like that, this is made for like, you know, fluid scenarios in hospitals and stuff. So it's not going to be as delicate maybe as some of the other ones. That being said, it is an electronic device. You don't want to immerse it in water. You don't want to get it any wetter than, you know, you have to. And then, you know, just to put this back on, you just pop it on here and then you pop it on there, and then it just snaps into place. Like I said, I don't have the new filter frame either on mine. And so that will be a little bit different. The filter on mine, if I take it off, it's just like floppy material. But you'll get the rigid filter frame that will fit underneath this helmet. Is there any latex in it? I don't know. That's a good question. Jared, do you know if there's any latex in it? I don't remember. If there's latex in it, then it's probably in this thing. I think that there's not, but definitely We'll have to look it up and see. The other thing I do want to tell you guys, well, let me just show you this customer service information. And I also want to show you here on this website, they have so many videos that show you, because they did this for healthcare professionals. And so in their healthcare professional training, they answer all sorts of questions and they take it apart piece by piece and they put it back together and they tell you all about it and they tell you about the different versions and all of that kind of stuff on their website. So you could really dig long, hard, and deep into the specs for MaxAir. So if you see here, they definitely have come up with a very nice little flyer here introducing for the consumer market. And then here's the contact information for MaxAir. You can contact their customer service here at this email or here at this phone number, option number 6. And then this website right here, maxair-systems.com, there are so many training videos on there that can tell you how to don, how to doff, how to take apart, how to put together, all of that kind of stuff too. So they really have amassed a lot of information here on their website as well. Port accounted, how do they compare to the VersaFlow, all of these kinds of things. I mean, basically they're NIOSH approved, PAPRs. And so I do think that the VersaFlow fans I think are a little bit stronger, but all of these are PAPR level protection that have met the specs for NIOSH. So again, we're really getting into the weeds when we talk about, which PAPR is quote unquote more protective, because even the half mask PAPRs are way protective, so we're getting into the realm of infinitesimally small probability that you would ever get an infectious dose with any of the NIOSH approved PAPRs on, is my opinion. Any NIOSH approved PAPR is pretty much going to be equivalent. The difference is going to be, again, weight, sound, durability, and your aesthetic are going to be a lot of the differences. Any type of PPE can fail. There's nothing which 100% safe, of course. And so basically, my answer to that is, and actually, this is one of the few rare times that I came in and popped mine, but I always have an N95 in my pocket. Always. I had a 3M elastomeric P100 secure click exhale valve fell on me in the middle of a hospital one time. And luckily I had a N95 in my pocket because I don't go anywhere without an N95 in my pocket, because anything can fail. If I have a N95 on, my strap can break. My PAPR can run out of battery. Something could happen. Maybe I tripped and fell down and jerked my cord completely loose, or whatever. You're always going to have, again, those layers of mitigation. And I still, even when I wear PAPRs, I wear my Profi nasal spray when I do the PAPRs. And I have my N95 in my pocket. And I just sort of go about my life. But I would always say, anytime you have anything that's electronic, if it stops working, these are not protective when they're not blowing. They're not like the clean space half mask that give you protection. So and neither are the VersaFlows are not protective when they're not blowing. So you always do want to have an N95 in your pocket just in case you need it. What is the cuff? This is the cuff, the part that is the disposable part that goes around your face. This is called the cuff. So that's just a terminology thing. Someone else answered that. Okay. I got a Clean Place Pro during the first promotion. My unit turned out to be defective. Is there a buyback product? Is that still happening? Yes. So I did mention the Clean Space buyback program. That is not ready yet. So if you are a Clean Space owner and you're looking to switch to the MaxAir, it's probably worth waiting a couple of weeks, because they told me that within a couple of weeks they'll probably have the MaxAir buyback program, which will give you an additional discount on your unit. How much of an additional discount, we don't know yet. That's to be determined. I would say that the price point that they're giving us in our groups, it's a significant discount. So there will be some extra discount on it, but it may not be a huge extra amount because they're already discounting it a lot, but there will be some extra savings. And so if you're interested in that and you're interested in using their Clean Space buyback program, then I would maybe wait a couple of weeks instead of buying immediately at this round, and they'll have that information available to us. They just haven't gotten that ready yet for us. Are you confident based on all evidence that the MaxAir will be protective enough to spend time indoors with other people and worry about it? Thanks, Jared, for giving us those numbers. It doesn't sound protective as the VersaFlow. Okay, so if you're talking about, a lot of our N95 masks, when they're tested and they're properly fit, they filter at 99% filtration. Okay. An elastomeric filters at, the P100s. If it fits you properly, P100 is as protective as it gets. And then you're adding an extra layer of the positive air pressure to these PAPRs. These PAPRs are safe. If you watch our video, Where Can You Go in a PAPR, we talk a little bit more and dig in a little bit more about how protective they are. But basically, my one of my daughters does not, her B cells are gone. They're turned off because of a medical condition. She has a rheumatological chemo that she gets every 3 weeks, and her B cells are gone. Okay. She's very, very high risk for COVID infection. And my other 3 of my 4 kids have health issues that put them in a very high risk category. My other 2 are on immunosuppressants. I trust the PAPRs for my family to basically, again, go anywhere. You can go anywhere, and I mean, you can't go scuba diving in it, and you probably wouldn't go skydiving in it. But in terms of infectious protection, people work in COVID wards. People work in COVID wards in fit tested N95s. But then there's always for me that extra, is the seal right? What if I'm, they're breathing heavily and then the mask gets a little wet, then it loses filtration or whatever. With the PAPRs, that just gives you that little bit extra confidence that you not only have the P100 level filtration, you have the outflow. And the odds that you are catching, I mean, people deal with Ebola in PAPRs. People deal with all sorts of things in PAPRs. The PAPRs are protective. That being said, if you have something like avian flu that's fomite transmitted, you don't want to grab, a bathroom doorknob or something and then stick your hand under your PAPR and scratch all on, pick your nose, right? Please don't do that. Please wash your hands and use good hand hygiene. And make sure that if you are, because you can, with the PAPR, you can stick your hand under there and scratch your face. You can rub your eye if your hands are clean. So it's not going to be foolproof, but it's pretty much it's like you're really walking around in a bubble of your own air. It's clean air and you're exhalant, and it's about as good as it gets. And for me, even for having my kiddos who really have problems fighting viruses and who have a condition where their immune system attacks their brain if they do get sick. They have, post-infectiously triggered autoimmune encephalitis, so that's a mouthful. So we're super, super careful. And knock on wood, thus far, we've avoided infection. And for the past year and a half now, we have been out and about with PAPRs. We have been using them successfully in even now high risk situations. And I would not come here and tell anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, or that I felt like was putting, somebody at risk, because that's pretty much would be my worst nightmare, was for me to tell you, hey, I mean, I think you guys know our Modmin team and how hard we work to bring this information out to the community, and how the standards that we also have for what we say. These PAPRs are protective. As protective, the clean space versus the VersaFlow versus the Max and all that in terms of protection, you're protected in any of them. Any of these positive PAPRs that are NIOSH approved are going to protect you. Let's see. And yeah, in Jared's review video, he's going to have how much protection there is when eating, and what the return time is and all of that, which we greatly appreciate. What is the return policy? So the return policy on these units, once you receive them, because they are personal protective gear, is that you cannot return them once you buy them. They do have, though, a warranty on them. So if you go here, you're not looking at my screen. So if you go here to the website and you look at the starter kits, I'm hoping that it's going to tell us here Um, it doesn't tell us the warranty. It doesn't tell us the warranty protection. I want to say it's 2 years, but again, I forgot to verify that, Sandy. Well, if you can remind me to verify, I think the warranty on these units is 2 years, and I do not think you can return them once you purchase them, but I do think that you can, definitely, if there's any technical issues, of course, then you'll get replacements. They'll swap things out for you, but I don't think it's something that you can like buy and then repent and return, um, because of the nature of the item. If I remember correctly, I think I saw that you won't be able. Okay, here it is. It says an order email acceptance will be sent within 1 to 2 business days. The order will be shipped within 2 weeks. It does contractually bind to the order. Once we send the order acceptance email, it's not can't you cannot cancel it or return it. So you won't. It is a binding purchase, especially if you're buying them with with our discounts. So yeah, orders may not be canceled or rescheduled without company's written consent. The company refuses return reserves the right to refuse to cancel any order. Um, so basically, um, does have the company may in its sole discretion allocate product, return freight, restocking fee, or refund. So I'm telling you guys though, this is actually probably the most reasonable company that we've talked to in terms of what they're willing to do with our community and what they really want to do for our community. We've been looking for a answer to this accessibility question for a really long time. And they approached us and said, "Hey, we really want people who need these to be able to access them. So what if we, do a promo?" They knew that we'd done promos before. And also, what if we, gift you 16 scholarships for your community to start with? And then on an ongoing basis, they've said that they allocate, roughly two cappers a month also to give to our community to the two people in need. And they've given us dedicated personnel and they've sort of designed these things for us. And so, I mean, obviously, I'm sure that they do have I mean, we're all human and we're going to make mistakes. And they did say, please bear with us while we have this ordering process and everything, designed and implemented and all of that, because it's all brand new. But I do have a pretty high degree of confidence in this company and what they're trying to do in our community. Um, Scrub caps are recommended for max or micro if you have enormously thick hair. Is the airflow through the helmet or piped in one area? No, I think I just already addressed that. But you don't have to wear scrub cap in it. We actually were playing with it yesterday, and even with a floofy sort of ponytail on the top of my head, there's some clearance there. I think you're probably pretty good in most hair scenarios to sort of just stuff it under the under the helmet. I've had 3 shipments with batteries to Canada. Yeah, I mean, I know again on an individual level, then there's ways to arrange this, but they have told me directly from the COO of the company that they cannot do mass orders to Canada right now because of the lithium battery issue, and they are working on it. They do want to make a program like this for Canada, but this program is not accessible in Canada because of this issue. Okay, let's see. How stable it is on your head. It's very stable because of that. It has that screw in adjustment, and so I can headbang in it. I tried. I can turn on some good Metallica and get going. Uh, um, CPAPs, I think again we'll be waiting with bated breath for Jared's video. He had mentioned that maybe it's better to cut a hole in the front than remove the back part of the cuff. Again, I would say if you're trying to do something like a CPAP or something, you want to make friends with somebody who has like a port account that can help you sort of figure out how protective. I don't know, Jared, do you have any sense of the CCAP issue? I mean, the CPAP issue and putting putting stuff, having a CPAP on, and then that would definitely give you some gap in your cuff.
With the CPAP, I mean, you're getting air from your CPAP, so I'm not really sure what the advantage of wearing this over a CPAP would be.
Oh, that's true, isn't it?
So
Yeah,
you
because the
wouldn't-
air's coming from the CPAP filtered air. I mean, air not filtered. It's coming in from the CPAP, not coming in from. I was thinking of a trach, a ventilator.
I did there are inline filters for CPAPs. They've got a higher airflow resistance, but some CPAPs they have an adjustment for that. And there's also for the AirSense 11 CPAP, there is someone makes a third-party adapter to put a pleated, supposedly HEPA filter onto the outside. But since it's not made for it, I don't know how well that works because there could be an imperfect seal on the intake, but it could be helpful.
Thanks. Yeah, I knew you would have some take on that. Okay. Um, is it obvious when it's time to replace this cuff? It's pretty obvious. It'll start to be saggy, or it'll have a hole in it, or you might tear it up here. As long as it's making that seal around your face, and as long as it doesn't have any visible holes in it, you should be, good to go. It's not going to have like, invisible holes in it. The this it's like a face shield kind of material here. Now, like I said, I will say, you can, if you had a pin in your hand or something, you could maybe poke a hole in here, or something like that, and someone to replace these cuffs. It does not filter out fragrances and chemical smells unless you buy the VOC filter. If you buy the VOC filter, then it will. We've already been over the CPAP a little bit in the eating. I'm small. When I bend down, the helmet does tip forward. I wear glasses, so it's not a problem. I don't really notice it. Otherwise, it's very safe. Oh, no latex. Good. I'm glad somebody knew that. I checked since there's a latex allergy. No latex in it. That's good to know. The issue with the poorly fitted filter. Yes, that's what I've been saying, that there is a filter fix. They have redesigned them. They are putting the filters on a frame. Jared should have one this week to be able to test and reassure everybody. But they were aware of that issue. It will not involve any tinkering on the customer's part. It's something that the company has done to make sure that the filters don't ride up and create any air gaps. Is there any discount on the OV filters? I don't know, Sam. When you put that, I think the discount is only on the actual kit, and what comes in the kit. The other things we don't have a discount for right now, but they are open to like future discounts too. So if there's a big interest in the community on these VOC filters, we can let them know and see what kind of discount they might be able to offer us. Um, Let's see, I can't seem to find it on the website. Let me show you because I did see it on the ordering website. So if we go back here to home and you go here to consumables, here's your new Sense OV filter cartridge right here. Here's your lens cuff packages. These packages are, I believe they're 40 in a package. They are also working on, yeah, quantity per box 40. They're working on, because they know now they're going to consumer in the hospitals and stuff, this is what they want. But because they're going directly to consumer, they're working on a smaller, like 5-pack for us. And so within a couple of weeks, you're going to see the ability, instead of, outlaying the 252, you're going to see the ability to get just 5 filters at a time. It'll probably be around $30, is what I'm seeing, to get the smaller, I mean, not filters, cuffs, sorry. You'll be able to get replacement cuffs for a more reasonable quantity for just a regular buyer. All right. See what else we have. Um, does fan speed affect protection level? All of the speeds are protective. They can't NIOSH sell a product that's not protective on the lowest speed. So what fan speed really does affect is your battery life. If you're running it on the highest speed all the time, then and you're maxing out your, you're going to be like, all day long in a medical appointment or something, you have to be aware of how long that battery is going to last. It's going to last longer on a slower speed. And I've really thought about, like, why do you even have different fan speeds? And the only thing I can think of, from our perspective, is that when you're breathing and things are fogging up, if you have the higher fan speed going, you fog less. These are not super foggy in and of themselves. Actually, the microclimates are probably the most foggy for me. But they do occasionally, all of the units will have some fog in them, and turning up the fan speed makes that fog factor a lot less. If you're like, let's say you're running in them, you're exercising in them, or you're exerting yourself in them, maybe you're doing a cardiac, fitness test on the treadmill or something, having that extra fan speed just makes it easier to breathe. You pretty much breathe normally in these, as far as I can tell. I mean, even the resistance that you have from a regular N95 mask is not really here. But all of the three fan speeds are protective. This one does come with, three different speeds. There's a little bitty switch right here, that you can go 1, 2, or 3, sort of depending on your preference. It's almost like having a little air conditioner unit when it's hot, having the fan blow on you. It does make me a little bit cold sometimes when it's cold outside, and I can sort of turn down to 1 to kind of help that. But I mean, other than that, the 3 fan speeds, the reason why they told me that they thought that our community would like the fan speeds too, is that gives you the ability to keep it up on 3 if you really want, it to blast, but then turn it down if you have a phone call or something. You can put your hand into there and turn it down to 1. I mean, honestly, I just usually run mine on 3 most of the time, because I'm not ever really maxing the battery life out. And I can do phone calls and everything just fine, with it all the way up. So you will not get fogging. I do get fogging with MaxAir sometimes. I've worn it a lot, and when it's cold outside and I'm going in and out, I do get some. I mean, not a full face fog, but I can get some fogging inside of the lens. Um, how close is the visor to your face or nose? I have issues with the VersaFlow mask. They fog up and it's touching my nose. Um, Again, that's going to depend on the shape of your head and the shape of your nose, really. I have probably a good, I don't know, probably a good inch clearance, I would say, for mine. But that's really going to depend on how, and you can, with that harness, and the pads, you can sort of figure out how is best for you to tilt down or up. Like, there's some adjustability in that. My nose does not like bump though, and I mean, I got a decent sized nose, so probably I would just say there is some adjustments and some clearance that can happen. Um, okay. Is there any chance they'll make a smaller battery to fly? That's not in the, conversations that I've been having with them right now. Oh, Jared says it's legal to fly with one. Well, the MaxAir says it's not. So that might be a conversation that we might have from them. Maybe it's not the size of maybe it's not the wattage, maybe it's the size, or something about its externalness. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but so according to them, they can't guarantee you can fly it. Can I fit my Flow Max or my Flow mask or my V-Flex underneath? Absolutely. You can put whatever kind of mask underneath it, and they do fit. And and also glasses fit just fine underneath them. Last night I was playing with it. I usually have my glasses on before I put it on. And I've taken them off with it on and no problem. I tried to put my glasses on with it on. That did not go very well for me. So, maybe have your glasses on first. If you're trying to take readers on and off, it might not be the easiest thing to do. Because to get my glasses on, I pretty much had to completely take the cuff off my chin and sort of slide them up under there. And so you're going to lose a little bit, you're going to lose your protective factor there if you're trying to fiddle with your glasses like that. But they do fit, if you have them on, it fits just fine under. Actually, you know what? I even have my glasses here if you want to see that they fit just fine. As long as you have them on before you sort of put the um the capper on. Wearing glasses with this is not a problem, which is cool. And the glasses don't fog. I mean, at least I've never had my glasses fog while they're in the capper. Put my cuff off, so I'm just popping it back on real quick to show you that there's no problem with the glasses. Again, try not to forget to push down that little button. I think it's probably better for your unit if you're pushing down your button when you're. No problem with the glasses. And how much space do I have between my nose and the thing? Let's see here. Yeah, I've got a good inch here probably. Like I can put my whole hand in between my nose and the cuff. Um, so not a big deal. Um, and again, like I've done the whole let me get the glasses off really quickly. That's pretty easy. But getting the glasses back on under there was not something that I was able to easily achieve and keep the PAPR on. Can get them off, but I can't get them on very easily under there. Might just be my own fine motor skills, but let's see. Um, you need to have an account to buy one. No, you're not gonna. I mean, you're gonna set up through this website now, Gertie. It's a new system. It's not like you used to have that account and all of that. This is direct to consumer online. You put your information in, you put the coupon code in, you know, and then they ship it to whatever address that you put in there. At the beginning, you mentioned they're only offering 200 units at the discounted price. If we wait for the clean space buyback discount, we would miss on the first 200 units and possibly the larger discount. Um, yes, they are offering right now because they want to see what demand is from the community. And I don't know if you guys remember, but we sold the Clean Space North American warehouse out and caused some problems for their company with our Clean Space promo. So with that in mind, you know, we do want these companies to be successful so they can continue to offer us these products. And so this first discount will be limited to the first 200 purchases. Honestly, you know, I mean, I don't know how fast we're going to sell 200 of these units. I think it took us a little while to sell that many clean spaces. So, again, it sort of depends. I mean, and this is completely conjecture, you know. I mean, I'm guessing the discount for the buyback program. I mean, I would be real surprised if it exceeded $100 off the purchase price. That's sort of what I'm guessing. Now I could be wrong. They could call me up tomorrow and say, okay, no, this is what we decided on. I have no, you know, no control, no incentive or anything over that. They just tell me what they're doing. But you know, you know, if it's worth that to you, if that makes a big difference in your budget, then I think it's okay. To wait a couple of weeks. I mean, they did design this program with the intent to continue it. Like they want to keep dealing with our community. So will the discount always be there? You know, maybe not. It probably won't always be there at the level that it is, but I do expect different discounts to come and go. And I wouldn't expect them to penalize anybody trying to do a clean space buyback program, you know, for waiting for that. So I'll just leave that there and let you weigh what you might think would be good for that. Yes, you can get the V-Flex under it. You will still be able to smell things if you don't, you know, the nuisance filter, the VOC filter. I see people answering questions in here. That's nice. Looks like the MaxAir would be more comfortable than the Clean Space. It is much more comfortable than the Clean Space. My daughter likes the Clean Space half mask because she can have a hairstyle. So if you want a hairstyle, you know, then the clean space gives you the opportunity to have a hairstyle. Beyond that, yes, this is a lot more comfortable, and you can actually, again, I have trouble with people hearing me in the clean space. I have to, and I'm pretty loud, you know, and so, you know, it's the sound thing too. But beyond the fit is the sound. Now, again, I do know people are successfully flying in their clean spaces. So if I were heading to an airport, then my clean spaces would be, you know, what I had on. But this is a lot more comfortable. Could you please enable original sound for musicians in Zoom? Ah, I would if I knew how to do that. Let's see here. Audio settings. Um, original sounds for musicians. Okay. And I'm taking off even echo cancellation. I don't know if it would make me restart. I can't restart, but I did just turn that on. Did that make any difference in how I sound? Yes, no, nothing. Okay. Well, I turned that on. Again, this is pretty, the clean spaces are, I mean, not the clean space, the MaxAirs are pretty quiet. Yep, I have the original sound for musicians on. Let me see if I can take it off and put it by the speaker. And I think it would be really hard for you to hear something. My little Zoom thing is green, so it's picking something up. But like I said, they're super quiet. I think somebody measured decibels. If you look in the PAPR party, you can see the decibels, but it's really, really whisper quiet. I love my MaxAir. Been wearing it since December 2023. Great. How can you tell? Visibly damaged. Okay. Um. Oh, I'm backing up. Sorry, guys. Let me get down a little lower. And our thing, Oxivir wipes. I've put a GVS ellipse under it. So yeah, so that's the elastomeric that will fit under it. Putting all the plastic stuff with all the steps is very doable, even for a very inept person. Yep. I am definitely not the most technologically savvy person in terms of like working with materials. Like I have a great scientific mind. I can talk to you about theories and molecules and all that kind of stuff. But building things has never really been sort of my super strong suit. I'm not intimidated by putting this one together. So I would just say if I can do it, you guys can do it. It's pretty easy. Um, Favorite thing about peppers, glasses, yes. All right. I think, does the discount apply only to the starter kit? Yes, I believe it does apply only to the starter kit. Okay. So what I'm going to do, just trying to see. Okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end here again with the screen share of the customer service information here. So that'll be on our video. And then I'm going to turn off our recording and give everybody their discount code. So MaxAir, here's the online store URL, or here's the QR code that you can use, as well as the phone number. And then for more information or to watch the training videos, here is the website as well.